More than 2,400 Americans have given their lives since the U.S. first invaded Afghanistan. That's nearly the number that died on 9/11. We sat down for an emotional interview with some relatives of the fallen and with combat survivors of the Battle of Wanat in 2008. It was one of the bloodiest in the war, with 9 U.S. soldiers killed and 27 wounded.
9/11 was the reason why Jason decided that he would go into the military.
I remember him talking to me about wanting to go and, fight terror.
My son gave his life over there. He'd probably be alive today if it hadn't been for 9/11.
For Jessica Hovader Davis, Carlene Cross, and Dave Brostrom, 9/11 was a turning point, one that would send their sons to a remote and dangerous battlefield. Today, these Gold Star families are forever linked together because of one of the deadliest battles of the war in Afghanistan, the Battle of Wanat. 9 American paratroopers from Chosen Company's 173rd Brigade died that day after they were ambushed by 200 Taliban fighters just 11 days before coming home. Jessica lost her younger brother, Jason Hovader. Carlene, her only son, Jason Bogar. Dave, his eldest child, Jonathan Brostrom.
I don't like wearing this Gold Star. I wear it with pride, but I don't like it.
Frankie Gay lost his 22-year-old son, Pruitt Rainey. He says the survivors are like family.
When I hear these other soldiers tell their stories of what my son did, how he sacrificed his life for his brothers, it makes me more proud than I've ever been in my life.
Survivors like Platoon Sergeant David Zwick and Gunner Will Krupa knew the dangers, and so did the men they were fighting with.
It's our last mission, probably the worst one.
The phone calls home became increasingly frightening.
He said, I gotta go, but I could still hear everything, and there was a lot of gunshots. I just dropped to my knees, and I just said, God, please don't let this be the time.
200 insurgents versus 48 U.S. service members.
They had the high ground, they had the numbers, they had surprise, but we weren't outmatched.
There's very few things that day that I remember clearly, but watching Specialist Abad take his last breaths in the foxhole next to me, those are definitely images that I won't ever forget.
In the heat of the battle, there was heroism. Dave's son and Jessica's brother ran into enemy fire to help their fellow soldiers. Frankie and Carlene's sons died trying to save them.
They went down there unarmed to engage the enemy with their bare hands. That's pure love when you do something like that.
Carlene, that's hard to hear, huh?
Yeah, they must have, known that it was just going to be a bloodbath.
11 years after that battle in Afghanistan, some of these families want closure.
We have just sacrificed so much. I don't want anybody going forward to go through what we went through.
Selfless sacrifice, these soldiers' enduring legacy.
There's a scripture in the Bible that we have just really clung to, and it is, greater love has no man than this, than he lay down his life for another. And that's what they did for each other that day.
It's on Pruitt's gravestone.
This group has become extremely close, and they speak with each other quite often. And along with the lives lost on 9/11, we wanted to make sure we remember the sacrifice and the service of the men and women in the military, as well as their families who also serve this country so nobly.